Greetings everyone, my name is Buck Business. Konnichiwa, I'm Kawaii Critic, and today we are here to review My Little Pony Season 9, Episode 6, Common Ground. So, after they have established that Buckball has become much more of a phenomenal sport, it appears that Ponyville's team is out to compete once again, but that is not the focus of the episode, whereas in Quibblepants returns with a new family in tow. So, Quibblepant-san has a wife and her daughter, not his, so he is playing Mr. Stepdad. And more commonly, at least from what I can remember of shows, is that it's usually the other way around. It's usually the stepdad or the stepmom is the evil character. So it's nice to say that both of them are pleasant, and then the stepchild is still like, "Shut up, Dad!" It's pretty much the character in tow, and of course it's played by Patton Oswalt's actual child. And yeah, she initially is very distant, if you will. And so Quibble-san assumes that he has to try and try and try, and he recruits the help of Rainbow-san, who also tries to get him into the shape of a sportsman pony. So, this episode is very akin to, well, when Rainbow Dash did the very same thing to, well, in Buckball season. To Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, she overtrained them, but she pushed them to the limit. And you can see while she's doing the same thing, her ego has slightly shifted to change the perspective instead of continuing to push until tears are being shed. So, while the character flaw is still present, it has developed slightly, but it is still an issue of hers, of course, because these characters are dynamic characters. But, again, this is a retread, but with a new twist, at least. It is surprisingly pleasant to see MLP tackle this type of relationship, that being between a step-parent and a child, that being Quibble returning and wanting to connect, and the difference between pushing but still kind of trying and trying too hard, that to me did feel like a little bit of an issue as well. That felt like the most double-edged part of the episode, is Quibble is trying to convince the daughter to, appreciate what he's trying to do. Just going there in general was the first obvious step, but, the daughter is still being reluctant, and it does kind of irk me that the mother is seeing this and saying, like, you're trying too hard, like 3 times in the episode, if I remember correctly. And yeah, maybe during the third one, it could have been pushed to that. I don't think they needed to repeat the sort of mantra of you're trying too hard. It did feel like, well, buying the book, I mean, that is what sort of Rainbow Dash was technically accurate in the end of the episode. That is sort of what kind of got her to sway the side in being here in the first place. So, I do feel like the rating here was a little bit off at times, in those regards of finding that balance between, this has been a constant issue throughout, My Little Pony, is that when it comes to issues that are not necessarily black or white, this is more of a gray area, this is usually when I tend to see when the writers have the most difficulty in And it is very present in this episode, and I would actually argue that it is the most blatant in this episode from memory, of them trying to tackle such there's not really a necessary pure answer here, but they try to deliver on the whole moral anyways, and he kind of got there by pushing a little bit, so again, I feel like it's unbalanced in a weird way. It's almost there, but it also feels unbalanced. I know that doesn't make quite a whole lot of sense, but it does feel a bit off, a little bit. So I would consider this episode mediocre at best. So we haven't had a good episode yet, to be clear. We are now 6-0 for failure. I would consider this episode mediocre at best. Not good, but mediocre. I felt like the writing was a little bit off. We were retreading ground we've seen before. Even the acting, I know that some people are going to get on the child actor, because, there have been better instances of this. So, I would say that in the beginning she was fine, when she was all like, whatever, Dad. But when she started to shift over to sort of being accepting, like when she got the book, for example, I feel like her responses then were very off. I felt like she was more so reading a script, especially when she was reading the rules at the end of the episode. That was probably the most off she felt, because that felt like one for one just reading off of what the script was saying, instead of it like feeling like it's actual dialogue. So yeah, it did feel very off, closer to the end of the episode for her. But to be fair, that was the first time she probably ever had to do something like this. So it's a little bit of their hit and miss for that. Anyways, again, mediocre episode, and that is a review for Common Ground. But hey, at least we got a new ship, official ship, and I love it. I love these couples. Woo! But yeah, that is it for this review, mediocre at best. And if you'd like this review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. Oh, well, we won't actually be setting those up, but please feel free to like and comment anyway, and you can always subscribe to the main channel. And until next time, everyone, farewell. Bye-bye.